Videocast number 122, Leave No Trace, Minimize Campfire Impacts. Minimizing campfire impacts is one of the 7 principles of Leave No Trace, which is a program in cooperation with the BSA of the Leave No Trace Center for Outdoor Ethics that teaches people how to enjoy the outdoors responsibly. Minimizing campfire impacts starts with the choice of whether or not to have a fire in the first place. Campfires are an integral part of the camping experience, and to many, an outing is not complete unless you have a fire to cap off the evening. There are 3 basic reasons to have a campfire: warmth, cooking, and entertainment. Warmth and cooking can be performed without the need of building a campfire. Simply using a backpacking stove can easily generate both heat and allow for easy cooking. So if you're in an area that restricts fire or there's a fire danger warning, this is your go-to alternative. Knowing ahead of time will help you prepare, as cooking over an open fire requires different preparation than cooking on a stove. Once you've made the decision to have a fire, minimizing its impact comes into play. There will be an impact to the area from any fire, but there are many ways to reduce and disguise the impact. The first is to use existing fire rings in established campsites. Usually this is easy to follow if you're in a council camp, as these principles are not new and it is the norm. This, however, becomes harder if you're attending other types of venues where camping is allowed, as when you look around, you may be the only one trying to do the right thing. In general, if there is no fire ring, don't make one. Instead, you can build what is called a mound fire. A mound fire is sand or mineral soil collected from the root of a blown down tree or dry creek bed. Then you take the soil and lay a ground cloth to protect the ground and make it easier to clean up. Pour the material on the ground cloth and pile it about 4 inches high and larger than the intended fire area. Then build your fire, but just enough to get the job done. There is plenty of cheer in a small fire. As a rule, use wood that is down on the ground. Don't go cutting trees down, even if they're dead. And when it's all burned out and cold, disperse the ashes in a large area to make it as natural as possible. Take a hike out away from camp to gather wood. Leave close-in woods so it can be decomposed into the soil. In general, fires built on the ground overheat the organic soil and kill bugs and microbes living in it. It may take a very long time for anything to grow in the spot where a fire was built. An established fire ring is a sacrifice spot in which fires are accepted to prevent destruction of other areas. Another way to have a fire is to use a pan fire, which can be a simple disposable roasting pan that you set on a bed of rocks. You can also purchase devices that are reusable, like a collapsible fire pit. A tenet in scouting is to leave a place better than when you found it. So make sure that after a fire, you've cleaned up any trash or materials that's not supposed to be present on the site. Pocket any aluminum or food debris and make the next person's experience as good or better than your own. In the past, scouts were taught to leave courtesy piles of firewood for the next person. But in recent years, this has fallen out of favor to dispersing any extra material and leaving the location as rustic as possible. Established fire pits, of course, are the exception, as these are purposefully designed to be lost to surrounding areas to save them. But if you come across a fire ring, even with rocks surrounding it, that has vegetation growing alongside, and it looks like it's very new and has only had a few fires where there should be no campfires, consider dispersing it and letting the area regenerate, as this was probably set up where it shouldn't have been, and it's best to discourage its future use. Minimally ask the ranger or campmaster. But this is what works for us. Take what you like, leave the rest, and as we say in Wood Badge, feedback is a gift. Leave yours below in the comments with all the hope we can learn together. I'm Scoutmaster Dave, and this was a little on minimizing campfire impacts.